WOD 1, overhead to toe, with a 6-minute running clock. There are 2 parts. Part 1 is 6 total rounds of 10 shoulders to overhead and either 10 hanging knees to chest or 10 hanging knee raises. The WOD will begin with the bar preloaded. On 3, 2, 1, go, one athlete will complete a round of 10 shoulder to overhead and either 10 knees to chest or 10 knee raises. Athletes will alternate doing complete rounds. When an athlete finishes a round, they must tag their partner in for them to begin. One partner works at a time. Part 2 is an AMRAP of front squats. After Part 1 is complete, athletes will take turns as they choose to acquire maximum front squats in the remaining time. One athlete works at a time. Athletes can switch anytime they want. Athletes must tag their partner in for them to begin. Due to possible time limitations, both athletes do not have to front squat. WOD 1 standards. Shoulder to overhead. The preloaded bar starts on the floor. Athletes cannot touch the bar until the MC gives the start command. Each rep begins with the barbell in a front rack position and finishes with the weight fully locked out overhead and over the middle of the body. A shoulder press, push jerk, or split jerk may be used, as long as the elbows, shoulders, hips, and knees are fully extended and the bar finishes directly over the body with the feet in line. Hanging knees to chest. In hanging knees to chest, the arms and hips must be fully extended at the bottom with the feet off the ground, and the feet must be brought back behind the bar and the rest of the body. An overhand, underhand, or mixed grip are all permitted. At the top of the repetition, the athlete must raise the toes above the height of the hips. The knees do not actually have to touch the chest. Hanging knee raise. In the hanging knee raise, the arms and hips must be fully extended at the bottom with the feet off the ground, and the feet must be brought back behind the bar and the rest of the body. An overhand, underhand, or mixed grip are all permitted. At the top of the repetition, the athlete must raise the knees above the height of the hips. Front squats. A rep starts by cleaning the same bar used for shoulder to overhead from the floor into the front rack position. A rep is completed by maintaining the bar in the front rack position, lowering the hip crease below the knee, and then standing up until the hips and knees are fully extended. Any grip is permitted, including I Dream of Jeannie, as long as the bar is in the front rack position. When transferring the bar to your partner, you may pass it at the front rack height rather than setting it on the ground. Variations. Intermediates will do knees to chest. Novice and masters will do knee raises. Intermediate men will use a 105-pound bar. Intermediate women, 75 pounds. Novice and masters men, 75 pounds. Novice and masters women, 45 pounds. Score 1, time to complete. Score 2, combined total front squat reps. WOD 2, the box ain't over till the fit lady cleans. This WOD has 3 parts. Each part is 2 active minutes of power cleans and box overs, separated by 1 minute of rest, which athletes should use to promptly adjust the load for the next part. The goal is to acquire maximum reps of power cleans and box overs in each part. One athlete works at a time. Athletes can switch anytime they want. One athlete may do all the cleans, one may do all the box overs. How the work gets done is totally up to the athletes. In Part 1, athletes will perform 3 power cleans followed by 3 box overs, completing as many rounds as possible in 2 minutes. After 2 minutes, the MC will call time, and all athletes will stop, having 1 minute to adjust the load and prepare for Part 2. In Part 2, the MC will announce the go, and athletes will perform 2 power cleans followed by 2 box overs, completing as many rounds again as possible in 2 minutes. After 2 minutes, the MC will call time, and all athletes will stop, having 1 minute to adjust the load and prepare for Part 3. In Part 3, the MC will announce the go, and athletes will perform 1 power clean followed by 1 box over, completing as many rounds as possible in 2 minutes. WOD 2 standards. Power cleans. The barbell begins on the ground and must be cleaned to the shoulders in one motion. At the top, the hips and knees must be fully extended with the feet in line, the bar racked on the shoulders and the elbows in front of the bar. Touch and go is permitted. Every rep, even singles, must begin with the bar on the ground. Athletes cannot hold the bar in a front rack while their partner does box overs. The bar must be returned to the ground prior to the athlete starting their box over rep. Box overs. Athletes start by standing with both feet on the floor. Athletes may jump up or step up to get both feet on top of the box. Both feet must be on top of the box before jumping or stepping down on the opposite side. Athletes do not need to stand up completely while on top of the box. They may face any direction while mounting and dismounting. No part of the athlete's body, other than the bottom of the feet, may touch the box to assist any part of the movement or catch balance. The dismount must be on the opposite side of the box. All athletes will use a 20-inch box. The box over rep cannot start until the power clean bar has been returned to the ground. Bar variations. Part 1. Bars will be preloaded. Intermediate men, 95 pounds. Intermediate women, 65 pounds. Novice and Masters men, 75 pounds. Novice and Masters women, 55 pounds. Part 2. Athletes will change and add plates to achieve the loads of intermediate men, 135 pounds. Intermediate women, 95 pounds. Novice and Masters men, 105 pounds. Novice and Masters women, 65 pounds. For Part 3, athletes will again change and add plates to achieve the loads to accommodate intermediate men, 155 pounds. Intermediate women, 105 pounds. Novice and Masters men, 115 pounds. Novice and Masters women, 85 pounds. Score 3. Total reps completed. WOD 3. SYNCO de CHIPPO. WOD 3 is a 10-minute chipper. On 3, 2, 1, go, partners will begin together, facing each other in a low plank. As a chipper WOD, athletes will complete all reps of each movement before advancing to the next. The synchro movements must be done together according to the standards. Otherwise, for the other movements, one athlete works at a time. Athletes can switch anytime they want, and they decide who does what. It doesn't matter as long as the work gets done. WOD 3 standards. Synchro plank claps. The synchro plank clap begins with both athletes facing each other in a low plank. The low plank is achieved when both athletes' forearms are flat on the ground, the legs are straight, knees extended, the top of the butt is no higher than the shoulders, and with the athletes on their toes. In the low plank, nothing can touch the ground except the forearms, hands, and toes. There should be a relatively straight line from the shoulders to the ankles. From the low plank, both athletes will rise into a high plank. The high plank is achieved when the elbows are fully extended, the top of the butt is no higher than the shoulders, and with the athletes on their toes. In the high plank, only the hands and toes are on the ground. There should be a relatively straight line from the shoulders to the ankles. Once both athletes are in a high plank, they will clap opposite hands and then do the same with the other hands. A rep is complete after the second hand clap of each cycle. Athletes will then lower themselves to the low plank and begin again. Athletes are considered in synchro when they are both in the high plank while clapping the hands. Athletes cannot clap hands for credit unless they are both properly in the high plank position. Kettlebell swings. The kettlebell starts on the ground, handle up. Using both hands, the athlete grabs the handle of the kettlebell and stands upright with the hips extended. The athlete then begins the lowering arc of the movement. The kettlebell must pass behind the heels at the bottom. The athlete then begins the rising arc, and the movement finishes when the kettlebell is fully inverted with the bell over the handle, centered over the feet with the hips and knees fully extended and the arms straight. Wall balls. For the first rep, or any time the ball is on the ground, the athlete picks the ball up to a standing, full hip extension position with the ball in the front rack position. The athlete then squats until the hip crease is below the knee. The athlete stands up and throws the ball to hit the specified target. After the first rep, the athlete catches the ball, squats to hip crease below the knee, then stands and thrusts the ball to the height of the specified target. Synchro burpees. Athletes must perform burpees in sync as defined by both athletes' chests on the floor at the same time. Athletes begin the first burpee by standing upright, knees and hips fully extended. The burpee is standard, requiring the athletes to get the entire front of their body flat to the floor, including the chest. Athletes then push up from the floor and return the feet toward the hands. The athletes must then jump and clap their hands above their head. Athletes may walk their feet back while getting the front of their body to the floor. Athletes may walk their feet forward when getting up off the floor. Wall ball variations. Intermediate men, 20-pound ball to a 10-foot target. Intermediate women, 14-pound ball to a 9-foot target. Novice and Masters men, 14 to a 10. Novice and Masters women, 10-pound to a 9. Kettlebell variations. Intermediate men, 53 pounds. Intermediate women, 35 pounds. Novice and Masters men 44 pounds, Novice and Masters women 26 pounds. Score 4, time to complete. Floater WOD, all about that base. In 4 minutes, teams must complete 600 meters on the rower and as many reps as possible of the triplet, including 15 air squats, 10 sit-ups, and 5 hand-release push-ups. One athlete may row while the other does the AMRAP. Athletes may switch as they like. Only one athlete may perform an AMRAP movement at a time. Athletes choose how to split the workup. Athletes must tag hands for any switching of movements. Floater standards. The row. The athlete's feet do not have to be strapped in. The damper can be whatever the athlete chooses. Prior to the clock starting, the rower will be set to count down from 600 meters to 0. The first athlete to row cannot touch the handle until the judge says go. Air squats. The athlete starts fully upright with the knees and hips fully extended. The athlete lowers the hip crease to below the knee and then stands back up to a fully upright, hips and knees extended position for each rep. Sit-ups. Sit-ups begin with the athlete lying on the back with their hands touching the floor above their head. The athlete then curls up until the hands touch the toes. An ab mat is allowed, but is not required. If used, the ab mat must be positioned at the lumbar spine. Hand release push-ups for all athletes except the novice and masters female. A straight body position must be maintained throughout the push-up. No snaking, sagging, or pushing up from the knees is allowed. The elbows must be locked out at the top with the feet no wider than shoulder width. At the bottom, the chest or the nipple line or above must touch the floor, and the hands must be lifted completely off the ground. With the toes and rest of the body on the ground, a rep starts by lifting the hands off the floor and pressing the hands to the floor until the elbows are fully extended and only the toes and hands are touching the floor. The hips and shoulders should rise in unison, with everything between the ankle and shoulder reasonably in line. The athlete then descends down, maintains the line, lifts the hands off the floor, and continues. For novice and masters women, it's the same thing, except the athletes may choose to do hand release push-ups on their knees, or they can choose to do standard on toes version. Athletes choosing to do on knees push-ups must have their knees on the ground at all times. Otherwise, the standard is the same as the on toes version. Score 5. Total reps of the triplet.